Hi there, my friends. I welcome you to the Revolution. That is a game that is very interesting because it's similar to Papers, Please in many aspects. It's a game where you play a judge at the time of the revolution, of the French Revolution. It's a bloody time. It's a time where you have to be careful to balance many opinions, or you will be the victim of events. It is a game where you not only play a judge, as in like seeing about the cases, but you also care for your family who is belonging to different factions. You have to care for your family or you will lose their opinion. You will have to try to manage to balance them if you want them and you to survive. You have cases that go very personal. You have cases that are seemingly clear-cut. But most often, as always with justice, you can see here why justice is blind, because justice is headless. The justice won't be able to make up its mind. It's often a political decision. And even more in these times where the revolutionaries become a decisive force and they become dangerous. And you have to think about who the revolutionaries mostly were. A big part of them was the people on the streets, that were the poorer people, but who incited the revolution were the richer people. Like the burghers, if you want to say so. And you also have to take that into consideration. You know a lot of people in this game, and they have relations to you. But the most important is your family and the reputation with different factions. I think it's a very nice game that also adds to the channel and is historically bound. A lot of you will be interested in that about this topic. And it opens up for us the ability to role play something completely different. So let's show you the game. Let's go. Yeah, let's just create a profile and start the game. I've already played like day one to make myself used to the game, to be able to explain you all the basic things. But now let's enjoy the intro of the game. This is, of course, a symbol for a guillotine. Let's go. Polyslash.
Father. I am here. Do you hear me? I gave you the best I could. Why did you disown me? I have your blood in my veins. How could you?
Is that our future? We don't know.
Do I mean nothing to you? Why did you grieve for him? He was nothing. I am better than he was. People will follow in my footsteps. Father.
So thanks to polyslash and Marcian from the team on Twitter, who gave me this for free to show it to you. France, turn of the 18th century. Prologue. That's our court. That's us and our mentor. Puking. Because we had a night out that was rather based on drinking. Raymond Devoyer, remind me next time that I want to stop drinking this cloudy rotgut. Remind me before I drink it, we're disgracing Themis, huh? That's someone coming. Themis is the goddess of justice. And who is coming? You'll see. Our wife, Mathilde Fidel. We are Alexis Fidel. This was bound to happen. She has with us our youngest son and our oldest son here. Frédéric is our youngest son. Bernard is our oldest son. I told you. Papa, you said we would go. You promised. Papa had a lot of work, says our mentor, trying to cover us. He has a lot of heavy glasses. You promised me I can't anymore. I'm fed up with asking. Mama is angry because... Quiet. Today your favorite son wanted to prove he was more honorable than his father, so he started a fight. A 5-year-old boy. For God's sake. Our neighbors wanted you to explain that to them. But well, you were fighting for justice at an inn. Damn you, you bloody drunk. Mother. So, our son got into a fight, and we have to look on his case. We have documents and letters. We have events. We need to react to them. Ignoring them may have severe consequences. But we have to use our inference points to react to them. We have a notebook. We view detailed information about current events, actions, and characters. A verdict, guilty or not guilty, and the consequences. The defendant's fate. We have the hierarchy, current balance of power in Paris and your position therein, intrigues, complex conflicts between you and another political player. Defeat may turn out to be disastrous for you. And disastrous these times means the guillotine often. Inference points. Main currency of the game. We'll use them wisely. Notifications pay close attention to the changes in your influence and relations with factions. We have to be careful. With global modifiers. Some of your decisions and changes in the world may cause global modifiers to come into action. They affect relations, reputation, and influence. Review them in the notebook. So first, to react to the news. We have different inference points. Your addictions are no longer a secret. The fact that other children are bullying your son because of them is a minor problem. But who is spreading those rumors? It's likely to be one of their parents. They could have whispered into their children's ears whom they shouldn't play with and why. They might even have spiced the story up with a lie. But who will hear it next? We could intimidate all of the parents. But as it was only one of them, that would severely piss them off and would lead to more problems for our son than anything. We could talk eye to eye, which is more diplomatic, and I think we'll do that. Lost a little bit of influence. And here we have now reputation. That impacts everything in the world of the game. Influence points. A daily influence of 3. That might change later on. Here's our neighborhood gossip. And here are the people we know, friends and family. We have Mathilde Fidel, our wife, born in Paris. She's never been outside the city, a woman seen by many as the perfect wife. She takes care of the household and the children, and looks after her husband's elderly father. He's living with us. She doesn't show it outright, but she's determined to protect her children at all costs. They are perhaps more important to her than you. As is, spoiler alert, if you're marrying and want to have kids, that is very normal. That is the default. It would be strange if it would be otherwise. So if you're a man marrying a woman and you want to have kids, you're in the second row then. It is just as it is. Bernard Fidel, that's our oldest son. A slender and handsome young man. The weight of current developments in France is slowly dawning on him, igniting a revolutionary zeal in his heart. He thinks that the revolutionary judges should only be appointed from the lower classes of society, because only such people can be considered untainted and able to work towards the common interest, not only their personal gain. His gullibility is more dangerous than Frederick's, as his actions can carry the same weight as an adult's. People who excel in manipulating young and weak-willed minds may take advantage of his alacrity. He's a fledgling, yet talented fiddler. Frederick, our youngest son, naive and innocent, is completely normal for a boy of his age. I think he's 5 or something. He idolizes you and wants to be just like you. Even if he occasionally disobeys his mother, he carries out his father's will to the letter. His favorite toy is a wooden sword that he always carries at his side. In his imagination, he fights against villains, just like his father does in real life. He likes to carve small wooden figurines. So that's his hobby. As Bernard's is playing the fiddle, Mathilde has no hobby. She's caring for the family. We have Aldrich Fidel, our father. Once a moderately well-off merchant, today a bitter old man left with nothing but feverish revisions of impossible vengeance against the Renard family who once deprived him of his dreams. For several years he was unable to adequately provide for his family, to give his children the same standard of living they used to enjoy. Since you secured your new position at the court, your family was once again able to live a fairly acceptable life, and your father again began dreaming of returning to his former trade. However, Aldrich had grown too old and too tired to revive his long-lost career. Instead of enjoying the prestige and wealth of the Fidel family, he had to bear witness to the Renard family's rise to power. We have rivals, too. Or he has rivals. We have to be careful not to be drawn into this. Then we have Raymond Devoyer. We have seen him already, drinking with him. Our mentor, a man who has lived long enough to fully realize that justice isn't always the right answer. In his line of work, in these troubled times, the only thing that matters is survival instinct. At times it must go against the interests of other people. A man with such a mindset knows that one must keep an open ear both in the parlors and in the back alleys. The blind Themis appears to him as a bad-time fable, fit as best for novice law students. Perhaps he perceives too many shades of grey morality to remain an efficient judge, always balancing the public instead of the law. We'll see. Well, so that was our notebook. Let's now proceed to our case file of our son. It's pretty crazy. To Judge Alexis Fidel, we have not expected this kind of behavior from your son, although apparently we should have. Innocent child's play turned into an assault on our children. The younger one, Antoine, now has a chipped front tooth. We hope that you will punish your child accordingly. Should your situation repeat itself, we will react more decisively. I'm sure we can deal with a gambler, drunkard, even if he is a judge, but we will not let our children be hurt. But now we can look at the situations. We can find links, correct links to unlock questions for the defendant. Choose a line of inquiry, link it to the right category. We can make mistakes, and we have a number of traps. So, child's play probably is about cause of events or the extenuating circumstances. We don't know. The injured Antoine is probably about the victim, right here. The chipped tooth is about the victim. And the possibility of repeating, we don't really know. It's about that. Child's play of fighting children, that is the cause of events, I would think. Fighting children is also the cause of events. And possibility of repeating is about the victim, it seems. Oh no, that's a trap. Okay. We have here the victim again, and we have all questions unlocked. We were lucky. We had two free things here. Questions. We need to gather information, and normally there are witnesses too, but now we have only the defendant. We have to first unlock them. Being in the jury's good graces allows you to find out which way they will sway after you have asked a question. So, but we have to be in their good graces. That's why it's all important to also manage the reputation. Questions for the defendant. How did your play turn into a fight? Our neighbors Antoine and Jean, they were saying mean things about you. We were playing cards and they asked me to pretend to be a drunkard, whom they would, you know. You were fighting both of them at once? I had to add, that's our son. We're proud. What exactly were they saying? I are too drunk to guess, says our son. I was not asking you, my son. They were yelling that you are, well, I told them that is not true, and they started calling me names. They called me a drunkard son. And who started the fight? I can tell you who ended it. I think it was me. I kicked the one on the left and then wanted to get the one on the right, but they ended it. They knocked me to the ground and paid me back for hitting them. Did you really break Antoine's tooth? Frederick is just a child. I don't know. I don't think so. He wouldn't lie to us. We trust him. Did you hit him in the face? I think I kicked him, but not that hard. Of course we believe him. No more questions about the verdict. Like the most important decision, condemn or not guilty. And the signature. So that locks that in, basically. We think our son is not guilty because he's our son. And he said it, he didn't do it. And we believe him. That's important. Tribunal Revolutionnaire. You did well. A man has to defend the honor of his family no matter what. So, that's our wife. Those children are so small, and they already know the truth. The father of my children is a lying drunk and a gambler. Bernard used to worship you, but he soon grew up. Now it is Frederick's turn to learn the truth that echoes in the streets. He is no longer fearing your anger. He knows that your threats are empty. Frederick is only starting to learn the truth about his father from the streets. I was unaware that Mathilde had such a temper, as was I. Say we. We will wait outside as always, Alexis. That's the rest of the day. Let's see.
Paris. Liberté!
That's our family, if you see them down there.
We were enchanted by the idea of freedom. We could not resist it. Whole families took to the streets.
Our son and our father here. But then,
France was never so happy.
this also happens. You need to think about what you're doing, right?
We were enchanted by the idea of freedom.
A bloody freedom from time to time. Act 1. Liberté. Day 1. I have an expected sentence here for this guy. Find out which verdict is expected by the factions and your close ones. So have the revolutionaries and the common folk wanting to imprison that guy. Well, let's see who he is. And let's look about the news too. More neighborhood gossip. The father had a rare episode of foolishness when he decided to stand up to someone stronger, threatening him with a fist and showing his children they are safe by his side. He did not listen to your arguments. Furthermore, he gave a precise description of where you can shove them. That cannot be done. We will have to protect our family. We'll hire the thugs. That's who we are, eh? Something new about the notebook. Not yet, I guess. More neighborhood gossip. And is this about our father? I'm not sure. Let's look about the case file of this man, though. Compiled by Richard Mounier. Jean Renard, a 45-year-old innkeeper, been charged with fraud. He's accused of diluting alcohol in his tavern, tricking his clients into paying extra. Guests came with their minds set on a specific goal, getting roaring drunk. But instead of staggering out after drinking 2 pitchers of wine or several pints of beer, they would sit in the inn until morning, still sober and completely penniless. The innkeeper's fraud came to light when one of the customers discovered the scam and caught the cheater in the act. The man entered the host's cellar and witnessed him diluting the alcohol in the barrels with ordinary water. As a result, customers received only 4 parts of what they paid for and 1 part from the water carrier. That's not much, though, but I mean, 2 pitchers of they would sit still sober. 4 parts of what they paid for, 1 part. So he has only added 1/5 of water. But he has probably added more, right? Because you would be drunk still if you're going for it. If you only go for 1/5. But let's see about the questions. Let's see about what we can find out. So let's see what we can find out here. Methods, like that's diluting alcohol. And adding water is also the method, right? Then we have to ask about the innkeeper. What is his motive? And exposing the innkeeper would also have a motive. That's a trap, okay. The motive of exposing the innkeeper. Incorrect link. Do we have witnesses here? Yeah. Customers' drunkenness is the motive of them. So we were lucky here to have that. In now. Now we can ask him. In difficult times, people like to seek peace at the bottom of the glass, says our mentor. Please introduce yourself. My name is Jean Renard, Monsieur le Judge. Nothing but a fraud, says the common people. The jury. Systematically opposing the opinion of the jury may lead to serious consequences. Yeah. So that's the common folk here. We have questions for him. Thomas Leclerc, that would be the accuser, right? We want to hear him first. Please introduce yourself. Thomas Leclerc, I'm a regular at Jean Renard's establishment. And that's the Renard family that our father hates. Because they like betrayed him or something. Questions. How long you suspected that something was wrong with him? How did you catch him in the act of diluting wine with water? How long have you suspected that something was wrong with Mr. Renard's alcohol? I became suspicious around a month ago. Plenty of wine jugs were emptied, but instead of getting more drunk, I was just getting sober. It was already dawn when I realized I had no money left on me, and I was as sober as a baby. How was that possible? Back then I didn't realize customers were being served a proper first drink, then receiving more and more water in the drinks after that. Being slightly drunk, they weren't able to notice the difference. Was it like that every time? Every single time. There's of course an advantage for him, like you don't have the really tough drunks in there vandalizing probably. So that would mean he did it, right? Do your clients drink a lot? That's the interesting question, right? Tavern regulars usually drink a lot. So you have been selling plenty of wine. Quite a lot, yes. And yet you have been paying taxes on the amount of wine you have bought, not the amount of wine you've been selling, correct? Okay, it's also doing tax fraud. That's interesting. I don't understand. You've been paying taxes on 4 wine barrels, but by adding a quarter of water to each, I've actually made the money for selling 5 barrels of wine. That's one way of putting it. Perhaps it is correct. I'm not too good with numbers. You're not good with numbers, yet good enough to have calculated that fraud pays off. I wasn't aware. I will take that answer into account. The judge has exposed the bastard. And he's from the Renard family. How long have you been involved in the illegal practice of diluting alcohol? It's not an illegal practice. Everyone adds a bit. Really? In your case, it was a bit of wine in the water, not the other way round. No, it only was a fifth of water, if I'm not mistaken. Have you been doing this for a long time? A few weeks at the most. It's been hard to earn a living lately. I used to run an honest business. Pure wine was overspilling the glasses. Is there any proof to support your testimony? He lied to his customers. No reason he wouldn't lie in court. How did you feel about tricking wary citizens? Terrible, but all I wanted was to keep my business afloat. Others don't mess around for sure. No diluting would be the end of me. So I decided to commit fraud, so as not to lose money. If I lost my tavern, my family would starve to death. Maybe. But if you do this, you just have to increase prices, my god. Do you have children? I do. 1 son and 2 daughters. Time to start saving up for the dowry. And why don't you send them to work, idiot? I mean, he's clearly done it for his advantage. He has a tavern. He wouldn't starve to death if he sold it. At least not in there. And he's also part of the Renard family, which her father has suffered from. That's everything that influences us, right? And also, common folk and revolutionaries want him sentenced. I mean, as we all understand the practice of him saving his own hide, he should really have sent his children to work. Member of the Renard family. That's our protocol. We can look up what we've noted down. And that's the verdict. The jury votes in favor of incarcerating the defendant. They found the punishment sufficient. Yeah, we'll do that too. He is guilty. I sentence citizen Jean Renard to prison. Lead the condemned out. Huzzah! Long live pure wine. And after a trial, we click on to move to the next part. Hey, father, are you happy now? Oh, no, that's our mentor, I think. Or is he? They're looking very similar, so. I always want to try out if we can click somewhere else now. No, we've done it. Notifications. Yeah, so that's what happened. Reputation went down, influence points went down. And factions like us more. We have the hierarchy here. You can see here that's us. Judge of the Revolutionary Tribunal, generally considered a drunkard and gambler, a protege of Raymond Devoyer, who introduced him to the world of law and regulations. In private, he's an unremarkable character. We have to uncover this to get to Robespierre. Let's continue. And we meet Jacques Louis David. May I remind you that you promised to join me? I have a feeling that tonight's moon favors gamblers. Oh, is that so? Did we promise? We have to hold our promise. We're a judge. Though it does not favor spouses. God should grace us with wives who understand the importance of an evening game of dice. They should also know that the right amount of wine guarantees a lucky roll. I should go home. Bringing a judge to the game has benefits. Other players will surely not cheat. That is a strong argument. My name is Jacques Louis David. I am but a humble painter, not a silver-tongued judge. You're a sly politician, Jacques. As a politician, I understand the importance of keeping promises. And you, my friend, are trying to get out of yours. Yeah, we'll keep it. All right, but only for a short while. That's reasonable, right? You have to have friends or you will not survive in these times. With this politician. And of course it gets a little bit out of hand, probably. This was a bad idea. Spouse is still waiting. The simple mechanics of life. Revealed. The two worlds here, opposing each other, separating us, the backs against each other. Late evening, the judge's house. What? You can berate me, as you always do. Frederick sometimes imagines you as a deep-sea sailor. He dreams that you visit distant countries, have wonderful adventures, and one day you will return and tell us all about them. Because he never sees us. But all I see is a man in a lifeboat, says our wife, and one of your oars is broken. A furious storm churns up huge waves that are fated to devour you, and I'm standing on the edge of a cliff holding a makeshift lamp. Your children have already forgotten about you. They are far, far away. Your father died of old age. Your drinking companions now play cards with new friends. But not you. No, I am still standing on the shore, hoping that your boat does not sink. That vision is not so distant either. Your sons are still young, but the storm has already begun. If you don't turn around now... Good night. So we've got a good wife. She wants to take care of us and our future. And we're not so. Before the storm creates the highest wave, you'll have to bow before it alone. It will force you to become meek, and nobody will be there to seek it. So that's our relations. We have been gambling in the moonlight. When returning home, you can decide how you would like to spend the rest of the day if you have not had a story event that locks you into it. Actions will affect the other members of the family as well as their attitudes towards you. As you can see, our wife is affecting the reputation. Our older son is affecting the revolutionaries' opinion. Our father is affecting the people's opinion. Revolutionaries don't think well of us. And our son, each characters provide you with a deprive you of certain bonuses. Our youngest son is special. His attitude makes the other family members like you slightly more. Take good care of him, as we would. Our youngest son, that's always the precious one, right? The youngest son. Whereas important events, you may find yourself with an action forced upon you. On this day, you become the victim of your own decisions. We went with David to play cards. And we have to accept it. Gambling in the moonlight. Seen? Influence going down with them. Here as well. Have to be very careful. Act 1, Liberté, Day 2. And we have a memo of King Louis the 16th. Today the people of Paris commemorate Jacques-Guillaume Simenon, Major of Etampes. He was lynched by a furious mob for performing his duties to France. This march shall symbolize the unity of our society and the hope that the most violent stage of the revolution is past us. Yeah, of course it is. Goodness. Let us make sure that no other loyal servant of France becomes a victim of such hatred ever again. King Louis XVI. That's our mentor. Raymond de Vries. Simone was a good, loyal officer. Those bastards lynched him for observing the law. Will you join me at the march? That's our mentor, of course we will, yes. We ought to show that we oppose the self-appointed executioners and stand alongside of victims. I wonder why the king has taken the trouble to show up. Louis XVI, marching arm in arm with the people of Paris. That is unexpected. King Louis. Louis Capet. Continue, please. I'm merely an observer. Do not change your habits for me. I heard a thing or two about a young and ambitious judge of the tribunal. I was curious whether he's guided by justice or by entertainment, as some would say. We have a new case in the court. What I'll do here is end the episode for now. I've shown you most of the workings of this game. I'd be happy to hear if you like it or not. I think I like it a lot. It is just very interesting for me to have these historical events unfold. And while the story may be a bit railroaded, you have also choices. And these choices affect a lot. And you can feel the spirit and the dread that is hanging on, the sword of Damocles hanging over you with every decision you make. A balance that is maybe impossible to go for. And if you, in today's times, if you think about work-life balance and what results it can have, it had much more severe results at that time. And that is what it can teach you and me in the present. I think it fits the channel too. I'm not sure if I want to continue it too much. That will depend on how many of you watch and like it. But there's advantages to this game. First, I think it adds another aspect, and the possibility of role-playing a judge has always appealed to me a bit. And the second thing is a technical thing, that I might be able to play this on my travel laptop. So I may add episodes, not in 4K like this one, but on probably high definition, either 720 or 1080p. And so I can add one or the other episode while traveling. And that adds a little bit of an outlook to some more episodes. So that said, please tell me how you like the game, as much as you've seen it. There's probably a lot to unfold also with a hierarchy here and everything. Thank you for watching and happy gaming to you. This is Immanuel Khan signing out. Have a great time until next time and happy gaming. This is Immanuel Khan signing out.